The Kia EV6 GT has spent the last few years as the car people pointed to when they wanted to prove an electric Kia could be genuinely fast. The problem was that its closest relative, the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, kept moving the goalposts. For 2026, that gap has finally closed. This updated EV6 GT now makes 641 horsepower and 568 pound-feet of torque with launch mode engaged, and it brings the one feature owners kept asking for. It pretends to shift gears. You can see the intent before you open a door. The front end carries the new vertical lighting signature that runs down into the bumper, sharper than the car it replaces. In this dark blue paint, under a wet sky, the body looks almost liquid, and the matte lower cladding keeps it from feeling like a dressed-up commuter. The rear is where the design earns its keep. That full-width light bar wraps around a body that tapers like a fastback, and the little ducktail spoiler on top gives it a stance most crossovers never manage. It looks fast standing still, which is exactly what a GT badge is supposed to promise. Inside, the changes are where things start to feel personal. The dashboard now runs a wide curved display that stretches from behind the wheel across toward the passenger, and the whole cabin is wrapped in neon yellow GT stitching that tells you immediately this is the performance car of the range. The steering wheel is a flat-bottom design with a bright yellow GT button sitting right where your thumb lands, and that button is the key to the whole experience. Press it, and the car unlocks its most aggressive settings instantly. The seats are suede trimmed sport buckets with deep bolsters and that same yellow piping down the center, and you sit low in them, lower than you expect for something shaped like an SUV. It is not overdone, which is important. Kia could have buried this interior in fake carbon and red accents. Instead, it picked one color and used it with restraint. The center console is genuinely clever. The drive selector and start button sit on a floating bridge with the heated and ventilated seat controls along the top edge, and underneath there is open storage for a bag or a charging cable. The rotary dial has a small window in the middle that catches the light, a detail owners notice every time they get in. The back seats are where the GT makes its one honest compromise. Because this car sits lower and the roof tapers hard toward the rear, taller passengers will find headroom tighter than they would in something more upright, like the Ioniq 5. The flat floor helps the middle seat, and the yellow accented bench is comfortable for two adults on a long drive. But this was never built to be the family hauler of this segment. If breakdowns like this help you decide what fits your life, subscribe so you catch the next one before you buy. The boot is sensible in a way the rest of the car is not trying to be. Under the floor, there's dedicated space for the charging cables, so they're not rolling around the load area. And there's a small front trunk for the same purpose. It is not the biggest space in the class, but it is well thought out. Then there's the part everyone actually came for. 641 horsepower in a car this size means 0 to 60 in around 3.4 seconds. Supercar territory just a few years ago. The 84 kilowatt-hour battery feeds both motors, and on a 350 kilowatt fast charger, the car goes from 10 to 80% in roughly 18 minutes. The new party trick is the virtual gear shift. Simulated gears the car runs through, complete with a synthetic engine note piped into the cabin. Some owners love it on a back road and switch it off on the motorway. And that is the point. It is there when you want drama and gone when you do not. There is one trade-off worth being honest about. Range on the GT trails the single motor versions and the Tesla Model Y, sitting closer to 270 miles. And all that torque is hard on tires. Owners report replacing them sooner than on a normal crossover. The flip side is that this car asks almost nothing else of you. No oil, no fluids, no engine servicing, and that 18-minute charge means the range gap matters far less on a real road trip than it does on paper. At around $63,800, the EV6 GT is no longer the cut-price performance EV. It is asking premium money and finally backing it up with the hardware to match. For a few years, this was the Kia that hinted at what the brand could do. This is the one that stops hinting. For watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. I read every single one. And don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified about my next upload. See you in the next video.